Microphone is on and the light and up. Hold up. Yeah. I had to set the computer on mute. I swear, each and every time I try to record something, WhatsApp, Messenger, or whatever notification starts to blazing up there on the screen, and usually the sounds of the notifications start to distract me. The phone is over there on the shelf far away, and it's on mute, like dead silent, no interruptions. Yeah, this video is going to be quite hard. It's going to be honest and brutal. Mostly so I'm bashing on myself, but also you might learn something from this, so tune in. This is an kind of evergreen topic. This is my take on it. I'm supposing it's something you're also interested in, considering this is something you either directly search for or this connects to you right there and therefore you choose to watch this very video. And I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope you learn something from it, from my past experiences. And I have quite a whole lot to tell and go through here, so hope you listen till the end. Now, I don't mind, this is going to be kind of a bit as a podcast style talk, so go ahead, make yourself a cup of coffee, put this video on your headphones or whatever, just listen to this. And yeah, how to balance a working full-time job, which I am currently doing. If you're unfamiliar with me, I'm working full-time as a doctor and at the emergency department here in the central hospital of my city, or the city next to me. I'm living in the countryside. And I also work quite a lot of hours, at times even 80-hour work weeks. On top of that, I have a wife, we're expecting our first child, and I'm running this YouTube channel with quite infrequent uploads. I do freelance filmmaking works also when I have the time for it, as well as then personal photography projects. So there's quite a lot going on, yeah, I admit. And that runs into the why I'm making this video, which is how to balance all of that thing. So first things first, and that is identifying your core pillars of either what make up your day or ideally what you want your ultimate day to be like. Of course, if you're aiming just to retire early and be sun tanning on a beach in the Caribbean, so yeah, it's pretty hard to implement already. My ideal workday now in this hustle phase of life is that, of course, I'm hitting max amount of hours at work, sometimes even 80-hour work weeks. It doesn't make any sense at all. Thereby, by doing those weeks when I'm cutting it down to only working, and yes, notice the word only working, 40-hour work weeks, I have a whole lot of another 40 hours I can spend on whatever the hell I want. Yeah, go figure. The thing being, identify the thing you want to do. For me, it's my full-time job, which takes a lot of time. It's content creation. Thirdly is, of course, family. And fourth being physical workouts. In an ideal world, I'd be only spending time on these four things. A key point you might be noticing there, hey, yeah, but what about socializing friends and so on? Well, yeah, I have Lauri at work. I love spending hours with him there at work. I mean, 8 hours of being at the emergency department with my dear good friend there, that's something not even money can't buy. A content creation, surely at times it's rather lonely when you're here, but through content creation, I've met some of my best friends out there in the world, living everywhere but close to me. So luckily we have FaceTime, we have WhatsApp, we have Instagram, we can stay connected. But the silver lining of having those type of friends is that when you meet them, when you go on a trip like we did to Norway, which you can see on this video over here, it's like those moments are literally pure gold. And yeah, they are memories worth making. This means that going just out there literally every weekend, getting blackout drunk, yeah, it's something that has sadly enough be left out. A few times per year, of course, you have those friends you can meet, surely. But if you have your ideal outcome of life that you want to do, you need to live to the fullest, you have to work your way up there. I know from the bottom of my heart that where I want to be, I'm not going to get there by getting drunk every weekend. It's not just gonna happen. I have a lot of work to do. I've done a lot of work in the past, but there's just even more ahead of me. Yeah, work needs working. I'm differentiating here family and friends. Family is family. It's one of the core pillars you can't live without. You can't be completely a lone wolf. You have to have someone to support you, to lean back on to, because at times obviously you have to relax entirely, unwind from work, unwind from creation, physical workouts and whatever. You have to have your core family. And yeah, I'm luckier than ever to have my wife here, and as mentioned, expecting our first child. And yeah, we're in a big change of life. So yeah, looking forward to it. But backing up and looking at the big picture here, point being, identify those core pillars and ditch literally everything else. Trust me, it's not worth wasting your time on it. You have those things you want to invest yourself in, invest your time, energy, and efforts. Time and energy is literally only so limited, so focus it on what truly matters to you, not what matters to anyone else, their priorities, goals, passions, understanding, or values. Most important, after all, values. I have my own values, and whatever I dedicate my time and energy on is aligning perfectly one-on-one with my values. And rolling the ball forward to point number 2, that being routine and dedication, and a nice third fancy word for it, which is, especially on the physical workout or fitness side of Instagram, discipline. Yeah, it's like bashed out each and every day. You see these reels of David Goggins running there out shirtless in the rain and just like, discipline, who's gonna carry the boats? Yeah, you know it. That means simply do the thing regardless of how you feel. It's interesting in a way that getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning when your alarm clock goes off, you have the discipline to turn off the alarm, or then you're one of those sadistic persons who torture themselves each and every time by just hitting snooze over and over. And then you still somehow manage to get the discipline, get out of bed, brush your teeth, make yourself a cup of coffee, drive to work, spend 8 hours of your life at work, which most likely if you're watching this video or something, you're like, yeah, I hate being at work. I don't. I enjoy being at work. I'm making a difference there. It's exciting, yes. Most of the people out there, I'm talking about the vast majority, you watching this video might be probably the percentagers out there who enjoy their work, you just want to grow, keep moving forward. But what I was saying is that the vast majority, they have the discipline to wake up early, go to work, spend those 8 hours of their life getting some minimum wage salary, and then getting home and then having the rest of their 8 hours off for themselves until they then go to sleep and repeat and everything, do the same. And think about it, they have the discipline to do it for 40, 43, 40 plus years. And now you're right there sitting at home like, hey, I want to be a content creator. I want to having that like idea of where you want to be. So isn't it interesting that you have the discipline to wake up each and every morning for 4 years to go to work you might even hate, and then again you don't have the discipline to do the thing you want to do, which is make content, make videos. And then there comes the, and I'm emphasizing also the point that you're doing it regardless of how you feel. You shouldn't be in content creation and filmmaking, as I'm talking about here also to myself, is that you shouldn't be waiting for yourself to feel creative, like, okay, yeah, now the moon and the planets are in the correct order, now I can go out there and create the story of my life, because it doesn't work that way. You just go there and hit the hours, you get the work in. Same applies to physical fitness. In that, I can admit that I'm a sucker. I wouldn't say I hate working out, but it's something I truly don't enjoy. I come to realize it during my med school studies, which were intensive as hell. I had a friend of mine there in our group. She was amazing, that each and every time when we had some really intensive test, like we were studying 2 weeks non-stop preparing for a test, and I mean like 18 hours work or 18-hour study days for 2 weeks or something before a test. And immediately when the test was done, like my solution was just to come home to the apartment. I laid myself in bed, or then alternatively I put on the computer and played like a PUBG or World of Tanks. That was my way of unwinding. Her way was to get on the running shoes and go hit a 21k. And I'm like, man, are you serious? And yeah, at that very point I realized that we're not just wired the same. So yeah, for me I have to use those kind of discipline things, mental workouts, in order to get myself out there and go for a run. Well, that girl definitely doesn't have to do that. I mean, whatever the hell you throw at her, she is gonna go out for a run regardless of the weather. So literally, even if there was like a snowstorm, you're like, is someone chasing you, or why are you running out there? Oh, you're on a morning run. Nice. We're built different. To summarize this, point number 2, which for me is the content pillars, work, family, content creation, and physical workouts, you have to just keep hitting those regardless of how you feel. And this kind of rolls easily over into point number 3, which is optimize and streamline. Now that you have those 4 pillars of foundational pillars, pardon my English, in your life, do whatever you can to streamline the process where where the highest amount of friction is. If it's challenging for you to work out, which it is for me, do everything you can to identify that what is it that sucks so much about hitting a workout. Well, first off, you have to get in your car, drive somewhere, bang, get a home gym. Well, that's what I have over here. Find out workouts that are easy to do. That's exactly what I did. Well, then I figured that, hey, I can't figure out of anything. I'm in a rut and I don't know what to do. Great. I hired a PT for me who says like, okay, Andreas, you suck at this and this and this. And in order to improve, you need to do this and this and this. And by the way, here is your new diet, your complete menu from Monday to Sunday, each plan. And I was like, okay, yeah, great. I'm gonna follow this. Bang. That's how I lost 31 kilos. That's how I managed to start hitting out regular workouts, which I currently haven't been doing, which lines up into point number 4, which I'm going to talk about very soon. About friction points also, I recognized this already when we were with my wife living in our previous apartment. I want to make videos, I want to be talking to the camera, which, if you think about it, doesn't really align with my wife's idea of making food. And especially when you have the like electric vispila, whatever it's called, the one you're like electric stirring, where you're like baking some cakes or something, and she's like all the way in the kitchen. I want to be here talking to the camera. Those two things don't really go together in a small apartment. An idea I have and a co-creator friend of mine has is to get his own studio where he can work. It doesn't solve all kind of problems, and in fact I was talking about it in this video over here. Some truths about having your own dedicated YouTube space. Basically, this studio creates more problems than it solves. But okay, it solves that problem that I can work in peace here. And spinning the ball on that, of course, is in video making. Have only the essential gears that you know work. Have the like a high value gear, minimal amount of gear that allows you to produce the most valuable and high functioning content. I'm kind of a gear nerd in a way, in a bad way, that I tend to hoard everything, and then I realize like I use it for 1 or 2 shoots, maybe a client work, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is exciting, and it's there on the shelf for the rest of the year, and then I find some new piece of interesting tech and I'll be using that, and then it's again on the shelf. Identify those pieces of gear, or identify those things that really work for you, and once you identify those, then 100x at that thing and just go to town that very way. And to be able to identify that very thing is to do it 100 times over, and if not even more. Only then you've done it enough times that you have the experience, you know truly how it works. It might feel like you've done it 100 times when you're like at time 11 or 12 or 30. Yeah, I'm so used to this like routine for me. No, the fuck, it's not, unless you've done it 100 times. I'm thinking here of some situations in my past. when I was starting working out there in, I think it was November, December last year, I had the workout regime that I followed, and I think it took probably around until May, June that I started to really, by then, I think I had hit, and I was counting each and every workout, and I think it was pretty much at the 100, 103 mark of, or like workout number 103 or something, that I started to identify what I truly enjoyed doing, like in my working outs. Still, to this day, I don't enjoy working out that much. It's something I do because I have to, and by doing it those 100 times, I found still those things that's like, hey, at least if I'm going to suffer, this is the way I want to suffer and torture myself. So yeah, it took literally 100 times. Example number 2 for this is, of course, during my studies in med school, because med school is literally like drinking from a fire hose. The information, or the amount of information, is just so heavy. And as is the textbooks, like their information wise, there's just so much that it's impossible to memorize and learn everything. You have to distill the most important key points from there. This led me into a path of trying to find out this kind of productivity hacks, because as you've probably seen YouTube and everything, productivity is like a business booming right there. It's exploding. There's so much on self-growth, self-help, productivity, how to learn better and educate yourself, whatever. And there's so many, I would say, hacks or guides on how to do this and that and optimization strategies divided into time blocks, and have small flowers around your titles when you're writing your text and taking your notes and whatever the fuck, and ditch just all of that and put in the hours needed. And when you've done it for 100 hours, which is literally just for entire days, but because you're sleeping around 6 hours per day, we're talking about 5 or 6 days, even if because you have to have a toilet break or something and grab something to eat. And then by day 5 you come to realize that maybe I'm gonna do it just slightly this way or that way. And then you just continue pushing the hours, and by hour number 120, 150 or 200, you probably come to realize something more on how to optimize for you. And this rolls over into topic number 5. But first, let's cover number 4. And that is adjust depending on season, occasion, well, whatever's the reason. By adapting, you have to realize that at this very age, I'm at age 33 now, I'm going to get a kid in 2 weeks. Whatever the hell of a schedule I set today, well, first off, once that kid comes to this world, that schedule is like literally torn to pieces. My life is going to change. I'm going to keep it in the back of my mind and still try to aim to keep it as good as I can. It's going to be vastly different, but I just have to accept that, okay, in this life situation, here is where I want to be, and this is where I am, and here's the kid and the family. Family goes first, but here is the rest of the time I have in the day, how I can prioritize it in order to be where I want to be. And be fine with that. You have the schedule, you have to adapt it. In addition to the child, I have a very big personal project which I'm now currently doing, so much that I prioritized taking off a bit of weekends from work, which for me personally is a very big thing. Since September until New Year's, I don't think I had a single entire weekend of work. Coming from a guy making 80-hour work weeks, having entirely free weekends from September till New Year's, well, that's one hell of a big thing. So yeah, there's that personal project that I'm working on. From about next week or so on, I'm also allocating those weekends, of course, to family. It's going to take an immensely, I don't think I can really imagine even how much time it's going to take. But so those weekends are then reserved for that. But until then, I'm hitting as many hours I can on that new personal project. This project is something that I'm prioritizing quite a lot, which means that I've been from the beginning of September also like cutting down my physical workouts. The time I'm having is just so limited. We're literally all of us having the same amount of times, and with me hitting those full-time hours at the hospital, and I'm not going to cut off from those hours I'm spending with my wife. So that means, yeah, content creation kind of has to go down. Yeah, it goes into personal project, and then the physical workouts, they kind of had to take a bit of dip. It's a short-term investment, and that's just meaning that my schedule is adapting as necessary. This is the situation I'm currently living in. Once I get this project to the surface, it's starting to roll on its own, I can reduce the amount of hours of there, I can go finally again full blast on working out. The thing is here, we're rolling into point number 5, and that is that, sadly as it sounds, you'll have to just figure out how it works for you. These are the things that work for me. I can only share my experiences here, how it has been for me. So what you can do is to like pick the cherries from the top here, but just taking the cherries from the top of this means that still, this is a stupid ass metaphor, is that you still got to have the goddamn cake there in front of you to put those cherries on. That was probably the worst metaphor of 2024. I need to stop doing those kind of things. You can try to learn here from my experiences, but ultimately the thing is that you can't replace those hard working hours, which you just have to put out yourself. And when you're doing those, I'm hoping that these experiences just like opens your eyes on what to focus on and what to look out for, that you have the general direction, that you have to focus on something, cut out the distractions, put in the 100x hours in there, and it's going to be way more than 100 hours, whatever the project you're working on or the life you're trying to achieve is. Put those hours there, minimize the friction, optimize, streamline whatever you can do. But still, there is no right answer to this. There are a lot of wrong things to do, and all of this turned into quite a mouthful. I hope you learned something from it. In case you did, I truly hope that you leave a comment down here below if there's anything at all that resonates with you, or if you identify something from what I'm talking about here, what I should do differently. Well, I'm all ears. I'm always, as going to number 4, trying to adjust as necessary, and adjust as necessary meanings to adapting to new information that you're learning as you're going. It kind of goes into the thing of doing something 100 times doesn't mean just like blindly going forward and doing it 100 times exactly the same you've done it always. Instead, of course, you should always have kind of a look back where you're coming from, what you learned from that experience, and then slightly adjust for the next thing. And you might learn something from those things, but just do it 100 times, focus on something to improve in it, and you'll get better. And all of this, it just requires a lot of work. So whatever you have goals in mind, don't be afraid to put in the work. It's going to be required. If anything resonated here, leave it in the comments, and also hit the thumbs up button down there if you enjoyed this video. Also subscribe if you're interested in learning more about filmmaking, content creation in general, photography, and enjoy listening to the stuff I talk about. My name is Andreas. I'm broadcasting from the countryside of Vero here in the beautiful Finland. I'm not gonna bother showing to you because it's dark outside. Was nice talking to you. See you in the next one. Peace. That was stolen from Timo. Peace. Ha.